identify whether this compound is ionic compound or covalent compound? How can we identify? Who knows?
Ionic
Yes?
between metal and between metal and non-metal. Covalent between two metals.
Two metals, two non-metals. Okay. So if you find that the compound is between metal and non-metal, so it will be ion. For example, NaCl. NaCl. We have here Na is a metal and Cl is a non-metal. So it's a compound that contain metal and non-metal, so it's ionic. Right? How can we find that it's a metal and non-metal? By electronic configuration. So electronic configuration, when we make electronic configuration for sodium 11281, so it contains one electron, so it's a metal. Chlorine 17287, so it contains 7 electrons, so it's non-metal. يبقى ده ionic compound. طيب covalent compound between مثلا nitrogen, two nitrogen atom here. Every nitrogen has 5 electrons in the outmost energy level. Compound, covalent molecule. Okay. In water has both ionic and covalent bonds. Ionic and covalent. Okay. طيب خدنا برضو الكربون دايوكسيد، برضو في عندي two non-metals, carbon and oxygen. But we have other ways to identify whether this compound is ionic or covalent. Okay. طيب the first method to identify whether the compound is ionic or covalent by electric conductivity. Okay. But we can say that ionic compounds conduct electricity. Ionic compounds conduct electricity when molten or solution. When molten or solution. Okay. Why? Because when they are solid, when we have مثلا sodium chloride, solid sodium chloride, it doesn't conduct electricity. Because it doesn't contain free ions. It doesn't contain free ions. Okay. And the free ions have electrons. Type. While when it's molten or solution, when we dissolve it in water, the ions will separate. It will be separated into Na positive and Cl negative. So we will have positive ions and negative ions, and both electrons can be transferred. From the ion between the ions. So we have free electrons, so the ionic compound can conduct electricity. Right. While in covalent compounds, they don't conduct electricity. Why? Because we don't have free electrons. We don't have ions. Okay? We don't have ions and we don't have free electrons or movable electrons. So we don't ionic covalent compounds can conduct electricity. They don't conduct electricity. Okay? So if you make a solution of sodium chloride and another solution of sugar, يعني لو عندي مثلا say we have، خلينا نقول مثلا عندي دلوقتي salt solution and also sugar solution. Which one will conduct electricity and why? محمد ياسر. محمد. Raise your voice, Muhammad, please. We have salt solution. Again, I will repeat again. We have salt solution and the sugar solution. Okay. Which one of them will conduct electricity and why? Yes. salt solution will ايه؟ will ايه يا محمد؟ salt solution will conduct electricity. Yes. While sugar solution will ايه؟ will not. Why? NaCl NaCl اللي هو salt solution is an ionic solution. ionic solution. ionic solution. خلاص؟ because it contains ionic compound. ionic compound. Okay? طيب. So it can conduct electricity. While sugar, the bond in sugar, as you studied in biology, the sugar contains covalent bonding between carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen atoms. Okay? You studied glucose. The glucose C. Yes. الايه؟ الفورمه بتاعت الجلوكوز الشجر. ما هي كبيره يا محمد، يعني مش هقدر ان انا ارسمها لك. هي عباره عن اكسجين، وبعد كده في بوند، ماشي، وبعد كده عندي كربون، وبعد كده الكربون في بوند هنا موجوده، وبعدين كربون ثانيه، وكل كربون محاط بيها 2 هيدروجين. يعني مره هيدروجين هنا ومره او اتش هنا، يعني مره هنا هيدروجين فوق هنا ومره تحت هنا او اتش، وبعدين الكربون الثانيه مره فوق هنا او اتش وتحت ايه اتش، وهكذا. خلاص لحد ما تخلص الايه ال6 الكترون ال6 كربون اتومز. تمام. يعني هنا هو عباره عن سلسله من الكربون اتومز، 6 كربون اتومز، وبعدين في اكسجين هنا موجوده، وبعدين في عندي هنا اتش، وبعدين او اتش، وبعدين او اتش وتحت اتش. عندك اللي هتلاقيه في البيولوجي، لو دورت عليه في البيولوجي هتلاقيه موجود. خلاص. طيب يعني معنى كده ان انا عندي كوفيلنت بوندنج. خلاص، لان كل الاليمنتس الموجوده عندي، الاتومز الموجوده عندي كلها ايه؟ نون ميتالز. يعني عندي الكربون نون ميتال، والاكسجين نون ميتال، والهيدروجين نون ميتال. فاذا هنا الشجر contains covalent ايه؟ covalent bonding. يبقى الكوفيلنت compounds don't conduct electricity. Okay. طيب this is the first method how to identify the compound is ionic or covalent. Okay. طيب if you put if you make an electric circuit, simple electric circuit, and you used salt solution, if you have a bulb, for example, this bulb or this ammeter will light up and the ammeter will move. The pointer of the ammeter will move. This due to the flowing of electricity. While in sugar, the bulb will not light up because there is no electricity. Okay. Right. The second one, that ionic compounds are soluble in water. Ionic compounds, number 2, ionic compounds are soluble in water. Okay. All ionic compounds are soluble in water. Why? Because water consists of hydrogen ions and hydroxyl ions, OH negative. Okay. And we have, for example, sodium Na plus sodium ion, which is positive, and chloride ion, which is negative. Okay. So the positive ion will go to the negative one, will be attracted to the negative one, and the negative ion will be attracted to the positive one, so they can dissolve in water. يبقى ionic compounds are soluble in water. All ionic compounds are soluble in water. طيب what about covalent compounds? Some covalent compounds are soluble in water. Some of them are soluble in water. For example, sugar. طيب but we have for example petrol اللي هو البنزين. Benzene can't dissolve in water and it contains covalent bonds. We have also oil. Oil can't dissolve in water. It's insoluble in water and it contains covalent